sprinkler room, going over the sprinkler systems with USA Fire Protection.
So my name's Avery Hansen with USA Fire Protection. We're in the fire pump room. I'm going to go over the fire pump room, kind of what we got here, the maintenance, inspection-wise, what to kind of look for. We'll show you the control valves and that stuff too in the building. I'm going to start from the main water and come over there, tease off and do, you got your domestics and then you got your fire protection water here. You run into, you have two main OS&Y control valves here. All your control valves are monitored, so if you move a wheel some sort on the sprinkler system, it'll send a signal to your panel saying there's been a valve tampered with, the supervisory. In the middle here you got your backflow, so it keeps out your dirty, stinky, corroded fire protection water out of your drinking water, showering water, etc. These are to be tested, certified once a year, just like your maybe your irrigation, your domestic backflows and everything too, same thing. Running through, so you got your another OS&Y, and then you got your main feed into your system over here. Right here, so this is a fire pump bypass. So you always have that city water pressure going to your system. Even if so, for some reason your fire pump were to fail, or if you have to do some kind of work on your fire pump, you can still keep it live with the city water pressure too. Up above here, you got two control valves. You can see here, there's a little indicator on them that's going to let the flow of the water. That means they're open. In the middle here, you got what is called a check valve. It's got a clapper in it. It only lets the water in one way, so it doesn't let water back into, you know. With the with these check valves, they want what are called 5-year internals. What it is if it's our guy coming out here, you take these two couplings apart here, check inside the check valve, make sure there's no slime, corrosion, objects that should be within the system. If there's slime, you know, it can get in the pipe, you know, prevent the water from actually going through the pipe, getting inside of a head, preventing water from actually coming out of it, or internal corrosion. What it can do is eat away at the inside of the pipe, cause pinhole leaks and that stuff too. So essentially what they're doing is just making sure that your system's clean, clear, it's, you know, it's good to go, it's prolonging it for the next 5 years. Not only are they checking inside the check valves that you got here, they're also going to be checking the floors too, and then every 5 years changing out the gauges also. So you got gauges here, you got gauges there, gauges there, and then you'll have a gauge on each floor too. Here you got a fire pump, and then you got a jockey pump. This jockey pump, what it does is just maintains the pressure in your system. So right there is your jockey pump controller and your fire pump controller. So your jockey pump and your fire pump are about a 10-pound difference when those should turn on. As you can see over here, your fire pump will kick on once pressures get to about 140. And then your jockey pump's about a 10-pound difference more. So 150, it'll kick on. You shouldn't hear it run that often. I mean, it'll run every once in a while, just because, I mean, temperatures change outside, temperatures change the building, you know, water's, you know, it's less contraction. It's just trying to keep up with the pressure in the system.
And you mean the jockey pump should run every once in a while, right?
Every once in a great while.
This should never run.
This shouldn't run.
Okay.
This shouldn't run. If it is constantly running and running and running and running and running, there could be something wrong. Maybe there's a little leak or something like that somewhere. You know, it shouldn't run that often though. It's just maintaining pressure in your system pretty much. With your fire pump here, annual flow tests. So once a year it'll get tested. I don't know if you're going to do monthly pump turns here too. Essentially what it is just turning on your fire pump once a month, let it run for about 10 minutes, and then shutting it off. It's exercising. Essentially what it is once it's on, you're just going to check here, make sure there is a little drip hitch here, because there's the packing inside. It keeps that packing moist. So it doesn't dry up, and then also it doesn't overheat as well. While it's running, you're just going to make sure it's, you know, not too hot where you can't even put your hand on it, or it's not smoking, it's not, you know, squealing or anything too. Essentially what it is just running your pump once a month, exercising it, just so it's, you know, ready in case, hopefully never an emergency situation too.
So we do that running?
You can do it yourself. We can send someone out too to do it once a month as well. Essentially, so what you're doing is you're calling out a service for a test, and you're going to be, you know, you drop the pressures essentially in the system. So you can drop it from a sensing line, from a main drain here. Once the pressures drop and hit that 140, and the pump kicks on, shut the main drain or the sensing line, let it run for 10 minutes, and then do your checks, and then shut it off, and then put it back into service.
Yeah. You guys probably won't be doing that. You'd be hiring somebody to do
Okay.
it.
We can definitely set something up with us too, if you'd like for us to come out for that, along with your annual inspection and testing and all that stuff too.
And that can be monthly or annual, the running of the, you said?
So monthly pump churns, and then you have to have at least an annual flow test
Okay.
on the fire pump.
Okay.
So come for your fire pump, you got your main feeds here. So this is to your fire pump test header. So like I was saying, your annual fire pump test, this is your feed outside to your test header. That's outside here. That should be the only valve shut in the system until they do the annual flow test. This is your main feed to your combination or your standpipes in the building. You got a flow switch here. So what this is a flow switch. So if water is going through your system, this will detect that, send an alarm to your panel monitoring company. That's when you see the red lights going on. They sense that there's running water, there's an emergency at that building. So, so this is your alarm here. Then you got a control valve here that you can isolate this standpipe, your main drain here, and then once you run up here, this is actually your first floor feed right here. So it's a combination test and drain. So you got your control valve that you can isolate the system. You got, this is a test and drain, so this is where you can drain the system, and this is where the inspector will come also to actually test the system. What they're doing is they're going to put it in test, and they're going to time. Once they flow water, they're going to time it. And what they're doing is they're testing that flow switch up there to make sure that it comes in, you know, below that 60 seconds. You know, usually between 30 and 45 seconds, but at least below 60 seconds. So they're going to do that on each floor as well. And I can show you where that standpipe is also. Yeah, so you got your control valve, flow switch. Each floor will have a flow switch too. Test and drain here, and then a water gauge out there too. If you want to take a big marker and mark where the gauges are at, also, just when you're doing your checks around the building, you can kind of see, okay, that's where it's supposed to be at. So it just makes it kind of easier.
On the gauge right now where it's supposed to go back
Yeah,
to? Okay.
yeah.
The needle. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, it is.
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, so if something does happen in the garage, say someone accidentally knocks their head off, there's no fire or anything, you can come in here and actually isolate the garage first floor system by closing the control valve and open up this main drain. That way it's, you know, open up the drain, release that pressure from coming out of that head, eliminating as much damage as
So
possible.
close and open.
Yes, yeah,
So close the red one and open this
yeah, Yep.
lever over here.
yeah.
You'd have to take the cap off first though, right? Or no? Or does that come out down here?
What's that? No, it all drains down here.
Oh, okay.
Yep, all drains. So all your floors drain back down. There's an express drain. So all your floors and this floor here drains all the way back down to the pump room right here at this drain.
And that's the big orange valve to,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
or
That way you're only shutting down
Orange letter.
one system instead of shutting down every single system in your building.
that's garage only.
Yeah.
Right.
Garage, yep.
Okay.
And I'll show you the other floors too. What did I say? This is a spare head cabinet. This is our 24-hour number too. If something does happen. After hours, you know, you can give me a call during, you know, between 7 and 4:30 is when people are in the actual office. The fastest way to get someone, you know, would be to call this after hours number, or you know, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, hopefully whatever, or on the weekend too. That'd be the fastest way. And this is just a spare head cabinet, spare heads through the building, you got your head wrench and all that stuff too. Any questions so far?
No, it's great.
Okay. That's essentially it for your fire pump room.
Okay.
Yeah, we can head over to.
Yeah, head over to the
Yeah.
front room.
Yep.
Elevator lobby. Morning.
Yeah, it is. That is a big difference. Alright, so above here, there's a control valve in there. And what that controls is there's a head in this fire pit. Elevator pit, there's one head down there.
Okay.
And that's what that controls. There's one on the top floor as well too, which we can show you.
And that, what does that do?
That's just a control valve to isolate, shut off
Oh,
the one head that's in the elevator pit.
Oh, on the bottom, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We'll go up to 4 then and show them the one for above the elevator pit. And then we'll walk down the stairs, it's easier. Go over the valves in the center stairwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see them every time I take the stairs.
So it's called a combination standpipe. That's where all your controls are for each floor. The other stairwells is just the fire hose connection for a fire department connect their hose to go through the building.
In the east and west stairwell, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heading west out of the elevator.
And this is where so there's a head on the top
Okay.
also.
This way,
And that's where that's, oh my God.
I just
On the
turned.
elevator.
Yes, correct. We can go to that stairwell too.
All right. Towards center stairwell now.
This one. So here, so this one right here is your 4th floor feed, and this one's your 3rd floor feed. It's labeled on here as well too. And these are the same as what you got in the pump room, is what I showed you too.
Right.
You got your control valves to isolate which system. You got your test and drains here, flow switches, and your gauges up here. I think you do have check valves here too, so that way the water doesn't yank into the steam pipe as well. This is the fire hose connection here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have just this one standpipe and then a fire hose connection in the east and west stairwell too.
So for shutting off, in case of anything.
Yep.
The shut off,
So for the floor that we're on right now, 3, yes, so we'd be shutting this control valve,
open the,
open up the main drain here.
same thing as,
Downstairs.
in the room,
Yep.
okay.
And then this, you'll have one of these on the second floor.
It says there, this is the fourth?
So this is your third floor, and this is your fourth
on
floor.
there, that's why I'm asking.
Oh yeah, you gotta take that off. That's just a cover for the gauge.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's marked here. So yeah,
Oh,
fourth floor,
Yeah, four.
third
Okay.
floor. Yep. Oh,
I think that pretty much covers everything then, right?
yeah.
We can hit the second floor one real quick and
Second
then
floor, yeah.
might as well.
And then second floor, same thing.
Self-explanatory, there's only one.
Yeah.
This is the express drain like I was talking about.
Oh,
This
okay.
all runs into the pump room
Okay.
right here. Everything drains to the pump room to that drain.
All right.